What's up, guys? It's JJ, and welcome back to Victory Lane. So I got the name right this time, so we're already starting off on a great note. So we got some exciting news today that came out from NASCAR and Speedway Motorsports. Something we've all, I think, been hoping and wishing for a long time. The NASCAR Cup Series will be back at North Wilkesboro for the All-Star race next season. So North Wilkesboro is, for those of you that don't know, a very historic track, one of the original tracks that NASCAR visited. It held races all the way up until 1996. That was the last time the Cup Series went to North Wilkesboro. It has kind of just been left there to rot for the next 20, 25 years until recently when Dale Jr. and some guys kind of got in touch with Speedway Motorsports, stuff like that, and have started renovating, putting in plans to fully renovate the track. But from my understanding, at the time of the All-Star race next weekend, they're going to leave the original asphalt down on the track. They're not going to do the repave just yet. So that's going to be interesting to watch. I think, obviously, the All-Star race isn't at Texas anymore, because nobody wants to watch any race at Texas, but more likely, nobody wants to watch the All-Star race, which should be one of the more fun, energetic races of the year at a place like Texas. I'm not even going to say a place like Texas, because Texas is in its own category of bad. There are some other not great tracks on the schedule. Texas is definitely one of the worst. So it's a great thing that the All-Star race is not there. Personally, I was at the All-Star race when it was at Bristol. I think that was a great All-Star race, one of the best we've seen. So I think having it at North Wilkesboro, making it a special event, should help ratings. I think a lot of older NASCAR fans will watch this race that might have fallen out of the sport. So for NASCAR, I think this makes sense. Also, as I'm sure North Wilkesboro will make some money off of tickets and just contract, TV, media, stuff like that. So all of that can go into the remodeling, revamping of North Wilkesboro, so that we can see it, yearly on the track, be on that track yearly, see it on the schedule yearly. So, yeah, I don't see a major problem with this at all. I hope the asphalt is still in good condition. I'm sure it is. If we're racing on the original asphalt, I'm sure NASCAR hopefully would not put anything out there that is a safety concern or anything like that. North Wilkesboro is back on the schedule. I'm excited about it. I love short track racing. Since the next gen car has not been quite as good on short tracks as the last car was, but the last car did do short tracks really good for all of the things that it did really bad. The next gen car, the short tracks haven't been awful, but they haven't been what we've seen in the past few years. Hopefully, that continues to improve the short track racing with this car. Because I really enjoy short track racing. I wish we would honestly replace some of the road courses with short tracks. I think you had the road course revolution, I guess, in NASCAR. You've got, I want to say we've got 6, maybe 7 on the schedule now. NASCAR announced the Chicago Street Course last year, so we've got another one. I really think, Watkins Glen, Sonoma, and then probably keep one of the Rovals in there. I'd say probably the Charlotte Roval. It just makes the most sense. I'd like to see them go back to the Brickyard, the Oval. Daytona Road Course has not been great in these years. COTA was kind of with the rain especially. So, you've got some options there with more of these older short tracks. Hopefully we'll get to go back to the fairgrounds in a few years. That's another project that's kind of being remodeled, another track that's being updated to hopefully get some modern racing, some modern NASCAR racing in at. I'd love to see us at the fairgrounds. North Wilkesboro is a great move. So yeah, I'm excited about seeing the next gen car on the track at North Wilkesboro next season for the All-Star race. That's honestly, I think, great news for Speedway Motorsports, for NASCAR, for racing fans in general. So yeah, I'm excited about that. But let's kind of now come back to the present and let's talk about this weekend at Kansas. So starting Friday night, we have the truck race. I was planning on making a pick for the truck and Xfinity races, but I don't feel maybe informed enough to necessarily make a pick. If I had to, it'd probably be Zane Smith. He won at Kansas in the spring. I guess I am going to make a pick. Zane Smith won in the spring. He's struggled a little bit these past few Truck Series races. And by struggled, he's finished in the top 10. At the beginning of the season, he was top 2, top 3 every week. I think he does get another win at Kansas. Xfinity race, this one is the one that I really don't feel informed of. I've watched most all the truck races and I've watched all the cup races. The Xfinity races are hit and miss. I'll see in parts or I'll go back and watch highlights. But, that doesn't give you the full story. I'm almost positive the Xfinity Series has not been to Kansas yet this year. But when you look at some tracks like Nashville, especially, I'm actually picking this weekend the guy that won at Nashville to win this weekend at Kansas. His teammate won last weekend. I'm picking Justin Allgaier to win this week. I just think this kind of track fits Allgaier and his driving, the veteran driving style, at its best. So, yeah, I might be wrong. They might have gone to Kansas earlier in the season, but I'm not sure. But, yeah, I'm picking Justin Allgaier to win this week. And now to the Cup Series. If you think back to the spring, the second time around, I'm basing a lot of my expectations off of what we saw in the spring. The Toyotas were just the class of the field. Nobody could contend with them. I think Kyle Larson did end up finishing second, but I think it was pretty much on a strategy, kind of late fuel car where they got the car, or late pit, some kind of pit strategy, if I do remember correctly, where they got the car running better, but he got some track position, and that really helped him. Kurt Busch, if you know, won that race, ended up having to, of course, forfeit his playoff spot due to injury. But, yeah, so Toyotas were the class of the field. Chevys really struggled. Fords, they really struggled. There were some Chevys mixed in the top 10. Fords were really nowhere to be seen. So I think the Fords are going to have to be improved this week, obviously. Some of the Chevys that need to run good this week did not in the spring. Chase Elliott, he lost quite a few spots last weekend, and he did not run well at Kansas at all in the spring. Alex Bowman did finish also in the top 10. He was very good at Kansas. I expect him to be good this weekend, one of the better Chevy cars. Larson, as I said, finished second in the spring. William Byron did not run well. So, really, it was all about the Toyotas. And so, I think we'll see a lot of the same this weekend, sadly. Toyota, they will dominate this weekend. I have a pretty good feeling that they will. I don't see anything changing from the spring. So, with that being said, the guy I'm picking ended up finishing 4th in the spring. But I think this is his weekend. Denny Hamlin, as much as I don't like to say it, Denny Hamlin's my pick for this weekend. I think, like I said, and I've talked about for the past minute or two, I don't know why I keep repeating myself, the Toyotas will be the class of the field. Kyle Busch could have a really good run. This was one of his better runs in the spring. He finished 3rd. Said Kurt Busch won't be driving this weekend, so he's not a contender, of course. Bubba Wallace did finish in the top 10. He really had a top 5 car to winning car that weekend, so I could see him running really, really well. Christopher Bell was up front. Like I said, I think the 4 Joe Gibbs cars all finished in the top 6, and out of the other 2, one of them was a 2311 racing car that is basically Joe Gibbs' car that Kurt Busch drives. So, yeah, Denny Hamlin is my pick for this weekend. Make sure you're looking out for Winner's Circle tomorrow. We'll be breaking down a whole bunch of stuff on it. And yeah, subscribe. All of our socials will be down below, and we'll see y'all Monday for our race recap.